Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is Miss Brianne, and welcome to another meeting of Coding Craze, our exciting program where we meet once a month during the school year in order for me to give you some cool demonstrations on all the different games, coding games, toys, and computer software and robots that we here have to offer at the Westhampton Free Library, as well as in my own personal collection. Now, usually when we meet live, our friends are allowed to experiment with these different toys, but unfortunately we're not doing live right now. So until we do, I'm just going to show you some virtual demonstrations of these cool gadgets and gizmos. But today's meeting, I just purchased another exciting device for my personal collection. And it is called the MicroBit. Now, as you can see, the MicroBit is a very tiny computer which was created by the BBC in order to be used in computer education among the UK schools. And this is what it looks like. It's about half the size of a credit card. It's very tiny, but it's a very cool device. And I will do some demonstrations of certain programs with this very shortly. However, before we do so, I'm going to explain the history of the MicroBit. Now, all the information I received on the MicroBit was provided by the website Wikipedia. So if you're interested in reading the full article on this, please click on the link in the video description. But anyway, so the BBC was planning for a project in 2012 as part of the BBC Computer Literacy Program. And the goal was to help educate children on the basics of computer science. So with that in mind, they decided to create a little device that allows to encourage children to be involved in the coding process with computers and building new things, rather than just use technology. And they also wanted something that worked with other systems, such as the Raspberry Pi. Now, in order to achieve that goal, they decided to create this little tiny device called the MicroBit, which is right here. So, but they needed the money to do this. And in the 3 years they were working on this, they managed to take on 29 different partners to help with the funding for this project in order to create these mini computers. So, with that being said, it took 3 years, but finally, on March 12, 2015, during the launch of BBC's Make It Digital campaign, they introduced the MicroBit for the very first time on March 12, 2015, which is this little computer here. Now, the initial goal was to give away 1 million of these little itty-bitty devices for free to every year 7 child who's going to school in the UK. And year 7 is kids ages 11 to 12 years old. And they were actually fighting on who to start with, year 5 students or year 7 students. Eventually they believed that year 7 students, they would want to play with these devices more and test out the devices more than the year 5 students, because they're a little older and they understand concepts a little bit more. But anyway, the initial plan was to roll out an online simulator for teachers to prepare to use these devices for their curriculums. And teachers were to also get the device itself in September of 2015. Then in October, of 2015, the students themselves were to receive the devices, and then eventually by the end of 2015, the devices would go on sale to the general public. However, there were several problems along the way which had the launch delayed. And because of that, the teachers didn't receive the devices Well, teachers and students didn't receive the devices until around February 10th of 2016, and eventually went on sale to the general public on March 22nd, 2016. Now, they had like I said, they had 29 different partnerships with partnerships with 29 different companies, which include popular ones like Microsoft, Lancaster University, Barclays, Samsung, and the Python Software Foundation, but to name a few. Oh, and Cisco too. Very popular and well-known brands supported this. Eventually, the MicroBit was deemed a success, and on October 18th, 2016, the BBC decided to turn over the MicroBit to the brand new not-for-profit MicroBit Education Foundation. So now it went from being a UK property to having its own website. And the BBC did license the technology as open source, so it can be manufactured around the world. And eventually, in October 13th, 2020, MicroBit decided to update their computers to now version 2, which now includes speaker and microphone capability. And this here, what I have in my hand, is the version 2 of the MicroBit. Available for the same price as version 1. So with that being said, it's a very big success, and it's a very versatile device, if I might say so myself. Now, with that being said, I'm going to show you a few projects with the MicroBit. As soon as I get this in order. There we go. So this is the MicroBit's website. And if you want to learn more, it's microbit.org. And you can click on the link in the video description if you want to check out this website for yourself. But it gives you tips on getting started, which is right over here, fun projects you can try out for yourself, lessons that teachers and educators can use, Let's Code, which gives you the 2 editing platforms that you can use to code your MicroBit. Plus it gives you news on the latest news, the impact that the MicroBit has, and where to buy the MicroBit. So, this is the main website. we are going to have we're going to do a couple of cool projects. Now, if you want to look at the ones that I'm showing you today, as well as other projects, click on the projects link. Let me get this out of the way. But first, we're going to focus on Let's Code. Now, there are two platforms that you can use in order to program your MicroBit. The first one is Microsoft MakeCode. And MakeCode is simply drag and drop blocks, almost similar to Go.org or Scratch or Tinker. And you can use those blocks to program your MicroBit. Now, it's mainly this, and I'll go over more about this in a minute. It's mainly designed for kids who are just learning how to program and need something simple to get the process of it. And which in turn will make it easier for them to transform to other programming languages. The other language you can program your MicroBit with is Python. Now, Python is a language that uses text. You type in the programs. And it's basically more towards like older kids, like in high school, or children who've gotten the basics of the drag and drop and want something more challenging to use. You can use Python with these. Now, the one we are going to use today to do our projects is Microsoft MakeCode. Now, before I show you these different projects, I'm going to explain a little bit about the history of MakeCode. Now, MakeCode was created by Microsoft, which was one of the partners for the BBC MicroBit. Now, the goal of MakeCode was to create interactive and engaging experiences for people who are new to the world of computer science and programming. And it allows you to, it's very versatile, and it allows users to create their own experiences with programming. And their goal was to introduce programming in a fun, inviting, and approachable way. Now, it's mostly that drag and drop block programming like children learn in Scratch and in Code.org and in Python. Well, not Python, Tinker. And it links to the actual text code when you use the blocks. So once a person is comfortable with these coding elements, they can progress to the text programming. And they can code more complex programs and use the programming language itself. Now, the MakeCode is not really a universal language, but it helps to customize your programming experience. So it's a very good starting point. Now, they have a blocks editor, a language editor, and a simulator. We're not going to focus on the language editor and simulator. We're just going to focus on the blocks editor today. Oh, and by the way, the information provided about MakeCode is from the website MakeCode, created by Microsoft. So if you're interested in learning a bit more about the history as well as the different editors, please click on the link in the video description. Now, with that being said, we are going to begin our projects. Now, the projects are from the MicroBit's website, so if you're interested in learning about these as well as try out other programs, please click on the link in the video description. But now that all is said and done, we are going to start our projects. So with that being said, we got MakeCode. We are going to click on the link, go to MakeCode Editor. And we have MakeCode. Now, as you can see, we have My Projects in MakeCode. Now we're going to click on New Project. And we're going to give it a name. Our first project is called Flashing Oops, hold on. Flashing Emoticon. And once we have that typed in, we're going to hit Create. Okay, so now we have our platform. Now, it automatically includes On Start and Forever. We're not going to use these for this project. So, what we're going to do is we are going to drag them. Oops. And throw them in the trash. There's one. There's the other. What we're going to do, and we have a lot, so basic means these are just basic commands that the MicroBit does. Input is you have to, or blocks say you have to perform an action to get your program to work. Music, the music blocks, they allow the MicroBit to play music. LED blocks, they allow you to program the MicroBit's LED panel. And they have more. Radio, it's a wireless receiver. Loops, it allows you to have parts of your program repeat rather simply instead of having to put the same blocks in over and over again. Logic, these allow your program to perform different actions based on properties. Variables, you create your own. Math, blocks that allow you to use math. With that being said, we are going to we're going to click on Input, and we're going to find the block that says On Button A Pressed. We're going to take one, put it in the workspace, go back to Input, take another, and put it in the workspace. And you know what, we're going to delete this. Let's try something. Before we drag it, we're going to select B. And we're just going to move that to our workspace. So we have On Button A pressed and On Button B pressed. Now, we're going to need a loop block because we need to repeat parts of our programs. So we're going to take one repeat block and put it inside Button A. Then we're going to take another repeat block and put it inside Button B. So we got those. Now Button A is going to be our happy face block, our happy face button. So we're going to go to Basic, and we're going to click Show Icon, the Show Icon block. We're going to put it inside. Then we're going to select our happy face. We'll have all these different displays. Next, we're going to go back to Basic. We're going to find our pause block. We're going to go to Get Pause, throw it on the icon, and we're going to change it to 200. Oops. The beauty of the problem with using the touch trackpad instead of a mouse, it makes it more difficult. Then we're going to find the clear screen block, place that in. Then finally we're going to find another pause, get another pause block. And select 200. And that's our program for button A. Now button B is basically going to be the same thing, except we're going to make a sad face icon instead of the happy face icon. So when you do the show icon, we're going to select sad face. And then we're just going to repeat the rest of the program. Hold on. Okay, clear screen. All right, and that is our program. So if I press button A, this is our simulator over here. It shows you how the program works. So if I press button A, happy face, and it blinks. If I press button B, sad face, and it blinks a few times. Now, we are going to download our program. Now, once we download the program, we are going to connect our MicroBit to the computer. So we got our MicroBit here. We're going to put this little plug in the top. Like so. Then we're going to plug it in our laptop. All right. So, with that being said, we got MicroBit flashing. We are going to open up our download folder. So we got MicroBit flashing Emoticon. Then we're going to open up our MicroBit. Then I'm going to drag, once I get a hold of this, drag so now it's loading into our what I'm going to do is now I'm going to zoom. Now I'm going to zoom to the MicroBit. And so watch what happens when I press button A. Oh, smiley face. And button B. Sad face. Cool, huh? And we got a little smiley face again. All right. So, we are going to, well, first I'm going to delete the get rid of the document portion. And we are going to go back to the home screen. And we're going to zoom in on MicroBit. And we're going to go try our next project. And our next project is called Shining Sunbeams. All right. So, we're going to click on New Project, type in Shining sunbeams. And we're going to create. And again, we're going to get rid of our, we're just going to get rid of our on start. We are going to keep our forever block. We're going to need that. And we're just going to stick with the basic part of our blocks. And we're going to show a lot of LEDs. So, we're going to find the block Show LED, attach that, and in the center, we're just going to tap the ones we want lit up. So I want my LED panel to display that. Then we're going to find the pause button. Oops, hold on. And then we're going to select 500. Now we're going to do another LED panel. Then we're going to light up a small square, like so. And you just click on the ones you want turned on. Alright, now we're going to find the pause button again. And again, select 500. Then we're going to do another Show LED. Hold on a minute. And we're going to do an interesting display. And you're just going to click on this. Get some more room. Finally, we're going to find one more pause button or block. And select 500. And our program's complete. So I'm going to press the play button to show you how it works. Cool, huh? Oops, made a mistake there. This was supposed to be lit. Now let's see if it works. Neat, huh? And again, we're going to download. Open up our documents. Go to downloads. Oops. And drop, as soon as I can do this, drop the program into the and let's see what's going on. There it is. Neat, huh? Isn't that cool? Now, with that being said, we're going to do one more program. And this time, I'm just going to minimize all the documents instead of closing them out. All right, so we're going to go back to home. Oops. And we're going to do our we're going to create our last project, which is the Magic 8 Ball. And this is the coolest one. So we're going to click New Project. We're going to type in Magic 8 Ball. And we are going to hit Create. And again, we're back in our workspace. We're going to get rid of both blocks. And we're going to go to Input, and we're going to click on the block on Shake. And with that, we're going to hit Clear Screen. Then we are going to find something. We're going to create a variable. So we're going to make variable, and for our variable we're going to type in number. And with that, we got our next block. So we're going to click Set Number to. Then we're going to just looking at something. Here we go, pick random. It was in math. So we're going to get the pick random block. And we're going to set it in the set number 2 category. And for our random numbers, we're going to type in 1 and then 3. Now we're going to we're going to go to our logic block. And we're going to find our if-then statement. So we're going to click on this. And then we're going to click on the plus to add another else category. So we're going to go back to, for if true, we're going to go back to logic. And we're going to find 0 equals 0 block. We're going to take that, we're going to drag it into this if category. And then for our first 0, we're going to click on variables. We're going to click on number. And we're going to insert that into our, hold on. There we go. And if number is equal to 3, then we're going to go to our basic. we're going to click Show Icon. We're going to put it in the first if block. Then we're going to select the icon image to a check mark. Now, we're going to go back to logic. We're going to get another 0 equals 0 block. We are going to put it in the second if category. Then we're going to go to our variables. We're going to select a number, and we're going to put it in the first 0. There we go. And we're going to change the second 0 to 2. Then we're going to find the show icon. Oops. So we're going to find the show icon. We're going to put it in the second block. And then we're going to select the image to an X. Then finally, we're going to get, for the third one that says else, we're going to get another show icon. We're going to put that in. And we're going to select that image to kind of like a 7 or an unsure. And there is our program. So we're going to shake it in the simulator, shake it again. It's a little bit iffy, but it works. So, with that being said, we're going to download. We are going to open our documents. Oops. Get the MicroBit up. Let's find the MicroBit. There we go. Get the download part done. And we're going to drag the magic 8 ball to the document. Have that download. Oops. And we're going to zoom into our MicroBit and test it out in real life. So let's see what happens. Just keep shaking, and it works. Now all you gotta do is ask a question and shake it, and it says yes, no, or unsure. X means no, check mark means yes. And of course I can't get the unsure when I need it. Oops, don't want to keep that. And the 7 part means unsure. But isn't that cool? And you can practice all these amazing programs yourself as well as others. But anyway, I hope you had a great learning experience today about the MicroBit. I certainly had fun teaching it to you. In our next Coding Craze, which will be the last meeting of the month, I'm going to show you how to use little bits and a MicroBit to create this amazing countdown alarm. So until then, take good care of yourselves, have a great day, and I'll see you soon.